Well, Lee, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute after the show today.
Yeah.
So, I want to begin our conversation with, about we're going on 5 years now, the whole COVID thing, and it really rearranged a lot of what we did with our lives. How much of living through that has persisted and been a part of your professional life today?
The whole remote story, connecting with people online,
Yeah.
connecting with you.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think this led to actually opening up um, more possibilities of communicating, getting connected with people you might not connect otherwise,
Yeah.
um, creating the world as like your next door neighbor,
Yeah.
to get this character of you're actually located in the world and you can connect with everyone in the world as if it would be your next door neighbor, which can be
So,
great.
yeah. No, and I think that's the offshoot of that is podcasting. And modern podcasting is such a wonderful thing of connecting and almost being therapeutic, especially with kind of the focus on, mental health and all of those things. I think it's been a good offshoot of all of that for sure.
Absolutely.
Um,
Just
so on paper, you got a lot going on. You're a multilingual voiceover artist, you're a narrator, writer, storyteller. But if I was to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, third graders, and it's career day, and one of the kids was curious as to what you do every day for a living and was like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
right. Well, I work as a voiceover, as a narrator, as an author, and I still do some counseling, even with kids,
Okay.
where I tell them stories
Okay.
and they know what I do. And I think the core of communication is storytelling
Yeah.
in any case, because you give the people, no matter of which age, the possibility to dream big,
Yeah.
to to understand that you actually can change your situation into a picture of how you want it to be your life.
Yeah. That's
So it's all
great.
about transitions also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there I'd love to add, many people talk about manifestation. I actually really like the word transition and transformation
Yeah.
because I have the feeling I get much more to act into a direction of which I want to act.
Yeah.
Because in manifestation, there is also maybe, but that's just my personal attitude at the moment today. You know,
Sure.
everyone has, everyone has his attitude or her attitude. But if you manifest something, you also risk maybe to get into thoughts you always had and you wanted to get rid of,
Yeah.
in habits.
Yeah.
But by saying I transform into the story I want it to be, it gives me somehow much more feeling of being able to act
Yeah.
and not being bound to some thoughts or, subconscious ideas.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
Well, I was for a long time in acting also and directing.
Yeah.
And I think I always was a storyteller, I would say, from early age on, but I was not aware of it. And then, through the process of life, through going through different situations, I actually reconnected to, or I was more aware that I've always been a storyteller. And as a child, I would play with dolls, I would, create stories. And I think storytelling, either you use storytelling to process through certain situations. I think you mentioned the word therapeutic in the beginning,
Yeah.
or you use storytelling to create the story where you want to go to. And I think there we also, I mean, the question is what is therapeutic? But I would say if you create something with a conscious idea, like I can achieve what I want to create, then it's much more something where you can go through boundaries. You can enlarge your, you know, your perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say, I'm processing through certain situations, you might be in the form of this situation and like going through a certain situation with storytelling. Do you understand?
I like it. Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. So, as a storyteller, essentially everything that you do, the backbone of it is storytelling. Take me back to where you were born and raised, and what were the seeds that were planted into you that became a storyteller, that became a creative, that became this career that you have?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I'm quite a big mix, you know, from different countries, from my dad, from my mom. We had storytellers already in the family. I had an uncle also. He was like a great uncle. He was a Greek Orthodox priest, where there was a lot of storytelling. My father, my grandfather, he told a lot of stories. Um, and I think also, you know, my family, they traveled a lot or they relocated. Um, and there you're actually part of a history which makes you move, you know, through the last 200 years. I'm actually writing a book about the whole story of my family's,
Yeah,
where I also do research and where I'm aware that history and the evolution of what's happening on our planet um, adds to a great deal to our personal stories and needs how we develop
yeah,
stories.
yeah. So, who's been that hero for you? Who's been that inspiration for you in your life and your career and um your thirst for being a storyteller? Who has been that person for you?
Well, spontaneously, I think I was my greatest inspiration.
Sure, I get it.
Yeah, because if I, you know, if I reflect the different moments in my life from where I came, my dreams, where I am now, where I succeeded, where I failed, where I tried again, where I actually admire, I have respect towards myself with this consistency to follow my dream and storytelling is also for me an anchor because it gives me um it gives me hope also
Yeah.
to con to live this life. And, you know, we're living on a very crazy planet somehow.
Yes, we are.
So sometimes it's also nice if you imagine it's just a story and it's not reality.
Yeah. But you know
Make,
what they say, truth is stranger than fiction, right?
yeah, my dad always said that. You
Yeah.
don't believe how crazy truth can be. No fantasy can, you know, match the craziness of truth.
That's true. So I'm curious in this journey of writing and being a storyteller, what was the first story that you presented to someone and you felt that response or that spark in their eyes and you were like, this is what I need to be doing? Was there a moment like that?
Was there a moment like that? Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. I did a homage of Don Quixote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a musical theater, which was presented. And there it's also about fantasy, dream, reality. And I did a big performance also, you know, with a choreographer, with dancers, with musicians. I was the narrator on stage and the actor with other actors. And I have the feeling storytelling, what we said before, also has to do. What is real, what isn't real, gives also a third dimension of the possibility that we can decide what inspires us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be, there's some people where maybe it's not all true what they're saying, or especially, yeah, why not? People when they're at the end of their life, for example, and they tell you something about their life, or they say things where maybe it might have not been so brilliant how they describe it. Or my attitude is to just go with it and say, "Oh wow, that's really great." Even if maybe not everything is true, but through actually encouraging and believing, you give hope to the other person that they can dream for a moment
Yeah.
what they actually wanted a life to be, where maybe it wasn't always, they didn't succeed in everything. So I
Sure.
think it has also to do with respect, that you allow the space for people to dream, and that they can actually tell the story how they wish it would be, or how they want to tell it. It's just for a moment. And I mean, talking about counseling, which I still do to a certain degree, kids, they always invent stories.
Yeah.
And it's so important.
Yeah.
And no matter what they tell me, if they tell me, oh, I've been in Spain yesterday and tomorrow I will be in Hawaii and I'm flying my own plane, I say, wow, I knew you're going to be a pilot. I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Sure.
this gives it's actually, I'm saying, yes, enjoy this life and do what you want to do.
Yeah. You know, Yoko Ono fell in love with John Lennon, or John Lennon fell in love with Yoko Ono because of a painting. I don't know if you've heard this story. Speaking of the
No?
word yes, she had an exhibit in a London gallery, and all it was a ladder that went up to a painting that you had to climb up to look at. And there was a spectacle that came down, a magnifying glass, and you
Yeah.
had to hold it up and look. And right in the middle of the painting, it said the word yes. And he said that's when he fell in love with her.
Oh,
Isn't
wow.
that cool? So
Yeah.
speaking of the power and coming from jazz, John Coltrane's favorite word of all time was yes. That was his favorite word. So it's a powerful word. So I'm curious, speaking of creatives and stories, if you could meet one creative person, writer, artist on the planet and spend some time with them, see how they operate, ask questions, is there anybody you would love to meet?
I think I would like to meet Robert De Niro, Morgan Freeman,
Yeah,
and Meryl Streep.
yeah,
Yeah. I think with Robert De Niro, I really don't I don't know him. Maybe he doesn't know me, we don't know each other. But there's something so sensitive about him.
yeah,
I saw some interviews. I would really, yeah, I'd be fascinated just to. He has something, everyone is very human. They're just, they have this fame and everything, but they have such a deep humanity.
yeah.
We're all humans. But I just think some people, or they have this great sensitivity and empathy. Yeah.
But the humanity part too, I think, is huge. And what De Niro was doing leading up to this election, saying, "What are you guys doing? We got to make the right choice. There was a level of him that took whatever crowd of people were not going to ever be involved with him again, and he didn't care because he wanted to do it for the right reasons, and I've always respected him for that. And I grew up in an Italian household,
Yeah.
so I understand that deep wellspring of fiery passion for what you do, whether it's art or whatever it is. And there's a level of him that I totally get. And he's a very principled kind of guy. He tries to be private. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that go into him, and he's, along with being a great actor. Um, so speaking of greatness, what is it that gets you up every day to do the work that you do? I mean, between the heavy of counseling and being a creative, there's all of these aspects that go into who you are. What is the ultimate motivator for you every day to wake up to do that and also evolve as a human being yourself?
I have a great team of people.
Yeah,
I'm working currently on Gusta and Gusto, which is about two rhinos. And by the way, I have a background in music.
yeah,
I studied at the Conservatory piano
uh-huh,
in San Francisco, but long time ago. But
yeah,
with Gusta and Gusto, the work I'm doing now, the audiobook already exists in English. I also did the whole sound design and combining the difference. That's where we also connect, I guess. Music, composition, word, narration, adding all this together, it's like, of obviously it's work.
yeah,
And I train myself. I always go to the gym. I drink a lot of water. Because I'm training myself to get in front of my mic then and actually be ready to connect the different dots together. And then I'm just amazed when I listen to how things developed, or also with the people I work with, my illustrator for the book, with I have with the producer who's doing the mastering. There's like this, the projects I do, they want to live, they want to get out there. So I actually never need to worry. I really can just trust that I will connect with the right people who have this passion. I just need to wait
yeah,
and I need to listen to my heart and I need to let go. And if you ask me what keeps me going every day, I mean, I'd say it's trust.
yeah,
Trust in the divine of the projects who want to get the spark
yeah,
and be independent also without me.
yeah. I dig it. That's great. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and you ran into an 18-year-old version of you, you can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've accumulated. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would say, why did you stop just following your heart? Oh my God, why am I saying that? Why didn't you just, why did you have the feeling you need to cut back on your dreams for a
Yeah,
certain amount of time and take care of certain, situations? And my father was very ill. I studied at the time in London. I studied dance and choreography, and I just gave it up to take care of my dad.
yeah,
And I mean, my dad said I should stay. It wasn't him forcing me, but it was like, I think it would be great to have the wisdom, no matter from which age we have, to to try and be fair with others, but
yeah,
not to neglect yourself,
yeah,
and to find a balance, or sometimes not to find a balance, because in the end, you're responsible for your life.
yeah,
And you're responsible for your life. I'm responsible for my life.
Sure.
And there are moments where where you actually are a part of the story of someone else, but
Sure.
then it's not your story anymore. And I think you need to be I would say to my 18-year-old self, be careful that you tell the story you want to tell and not to be involved in the story of someone else, because
Yeah.
that's not anymore your story and you lose time.
I get it. I dig it. That's great. I totally get that. So, what of everything that you've done and accomplished, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
Well, I'm really happy about this project, Gusta and Gusto.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy. Recently, a new audiobook came out by Blackstone Publishing and Spoken Realms. Siddhartha, I could narrate in English.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God, I read it 6 times again and
Wow.
again.
That's
And it
cool.
is, yeah, yeah. I can send you a link if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd
And
love it.
it is, I really had like goose. I'm so fascinated by this work also of Hermann Hesse because how he developed the whole work.
Yep.
He's going through a different vocabulary as he travels through. Do you know this, Siddhartha?
Yeah. I've read it. Yeah.
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 And if you narrate it, wow, it
Yeah.
is fascinating. And yeah, I'm proud of Gusta and Gusto, it's in English and it will be also, the book is coming out now and also in German. And I have a great crew of actors also in German. And we are also hopefully planning to do it in Spanish.
That's perfect.
Gusta and Gusto. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients,
Yeah.
colleagues, everyone that listens to your work, that gets involved with your work, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
The people who work with me, they say that I inspire them.
Yeah.
Often they say that. And I am very grateful for this because I don't see myself as like, that boss. It's about being serving the projects, and I'm trying to make the people feel comfortable and who work with me. Um, and who am I? Can you repeat your last question one more time, please?
That's it. I think you're getting to it. It's just really it's all about perception. Everybody has perceptions, but as us leading the march, we're the ones that are the lead perception. What is that
I,
perception of you?
I connect all the different aspects together,
Yeah.
and I decide always again and on the speed of the timing when what needs to happen or when something is ready. So I don't I don't I say it would be nice if we would have it until that and that date,
Yeah.
which are obviously they're projects where I have a deadline and then we need to do that, for the client.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah.
But like, for example, for Gusta and Gusto, where I am, the master of mastering time and everything, I I'm very alert about when, I plant the seed and at what and the tree is growing at its own speed.
Yeah.
And I know when do I take the next step.
Yeah.
So I have like respect towards my personal projects I do beside client projects,
Yeah.
where I just feel, oh, now it's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. So if anyone wants to get involved with your work, your world, any of the good business, where do they go? Where's the best place to go?
Leasakran.com to my website. And if anyone, has a story also, or they wrote a story and they're interested to maybe narrate it in German or English, I'm also happy to talk together about it and also to offer a free excerpt of a possible narration.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. This has been great. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful new year.
You too. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Appreciate it.